Hey all, it's Nim or Nimicry if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today we're going to be talking about professions in World of Warcraft and how I think they're really not used properly. I will give a couple of examples of where I think good design happened, but before we do that, it's time to play nobody's favorite minigame, Dragon or No Dragon. In a couple of seconds, I'm going to put an image on the screen. It's up to you to guess before the image shows up whether that's going to be a dragon or not a dragon. If you guess right, congratulations, you're the big winner. If you guess wrong, your punishment is to subscribe. I look forward to seeing all the new Nim nerds in the comments below. Let me know if you're new. All right, in 3, 2, 1, boop. And that very clearly is a dragon. It's the Silverian Dreamer, and it's a mount. You guessed wrong, you know what to do. Click that subscribe button. Now let's get on with the video. Professions are a dead end. There, I said it. Literally outside of 2 or 3 buffs that certain professions give you, there's no reason to have them. The professions do not improve gameplay. The buffs do not improve gameplay. They're just a checkbox. Have you got your gear enchanted? Good. If not, go get it enchanted for a nominal fee. How about food? You got it? Great. Oh, you brought a feast. Well, that's even better. After all, who doesn't want to share a meal with your friends? You have your oils, your stones, your pots. All right, check, check, check. Now, with all that out of the way and all the prep work that it took to get all of those things, we're finally ready for the boss attempt. And right as that countdown ticks down, we're ready to kill it. But wait, pause. That's not the important part. Can anyone tell me what all those steps actually added to the fun of your character? I can understand relief at not having to grind it. I can understand a level of satisfaction at getting it done, but that'll fade. How did it make your character more fun to play? I do understand some people like to RP, but that community is smaller in World of Warcraft than, say, a Final Fantasy XIV. The point is that outside of a character sheet, there's no reason to have professions, as they have no impact on the world in the current game. I'm not recognized as a master alchemist, chef, herbalist, miner, or anything else. It's quite literally fill the bar and forget it. And in some cases, I don't even have to fill the bar. Some cases, I could get access to oils, or for alchemist, for example, very early. And then if, let's say, I don't have to worry about flasks because somebody else already maxed it, I can use that. There's no reason, no benefit for me to do that. I can just let it go. And then if I want to level it, okay, great. And if not, whatever. If at one point, Blizzard decides to remove the buffs from alchemist or food or whatever, those professions will become even more worthless than they already are. And don't say they can't, because I remember when blacksmiths could socket bracers and make belt buckles. Those were removed for, I don't know, whatever reason. Make one up. So how do we fix the problem with professions being essentially a dead end? That's simple. We give them more use in quests, dungeons, and raids as potential solutions to presented problems. So let me set this up a little bit. First, I want to mention Ulduar as a near-perfect raid, at least in terms of encounter design. You could go on individual bosses and decide to do it on the normal or hard mode. This gave the players choice and should be in every raid. Literally, let's say, you want to do XT hard mode, or you want to do Flame Leviathan hard mode, but you're having trouble doing Kolgar in hard mode, and you absolutely don't want to touch Firefighter because you just got there. Same thing. It was a great raid, and I just wanted to make that clear that design philosophy should go forward. Let's move the clock forward a little bit to what I consider the second best expansion, Legion, and the Court of Stars. Surprise! The B-roll footage actually has something to do with the video! I know. I was also shocked. The Court of Stars was one of the only times professions and a few other aspects actually tied into the game and were represented in the game world. For at least one dungeon, me being an alchemist, allowed me to interact with the world in a unique way. Granted, I poisoned the boss, and that wasn't very paladin-like, but still. So stay with me here. But what if we keep doing things like the previous example? What if in the next expansion, there's a dungeon where a blacksmith can pick up a hammer and use it to break a chain in order to lower a gate, kill enemies, or maybe reveal a shortcut? And that's just one example. As I was writing this script, I had an idea. What if you could have increased effects from professions that work together in a dungeon environment? So let me set the scenario. Hypothetically, there's an object you need max level cooking to interact with. When you click on it, you get two options. The cooking option and leave it alone. So you use the cooking option, and then it changes to consume to give party buff. There's another option to infuse a second profession into it, or leave it alone. You're an alchemist, so you realize, okay, well, I'm going to infuse it with a second profession. That second profession increases the potency of the buff. Thus, you not only have two professions that you leveled to max that now are helping you in a dungeon. And if you want to be really wild, you could have a third check for, say, enchanting to further improve the buff. The crazy part about this is that if you make it, for example, alchemy and enchanting, odds are you're going to need at least two characters. That way, one person can't come through and be the buff hero. Would be nice, but you can design it in a way that it's unlikely for a character to have max level cooking, max level alchemy, and max level enchanting. So that's at least a couple of characters, and the professions are now changing how you run the dungeon. Sure, you could do it without the buff, but the buff will be helpful. And it doesn't have to be a complicated buff. It could be, for example, let's say 3% haste at the first level, 6% haste at the second, 10% haste at the third, or maybe it could be like one big group condition or buff as opposed to stats. For example, maybe an automatic battle res, or a group-wide extra action button that does something, or maybe a skip, or a portal. I don't know. The point is that right now, professions don't do anything. We saw they did something in the Court of Stars. It's been done before in Ulduar on a per-boss fight basis.
Hi all, it's Nim, post-recording. I just want to mention for the Ulduar point that I'm not talking about professions were used in the boss fight. I'm talking that there was intentional design to change the fight if you wanted to meet the conditions to change the fight. Alright, with that clarification, back to the video. It can be done again, and I think it would make the game better. Again, the idea is to take a dead end and open it up. It'd be used for something other than just, oh, I have 175 cooking, I can make a feast. You give it more interaction, less downtime, less dead end. And sure, some of the results might just be plain buffs, but there's the possibility for something really cool there. And we haven't even gotten into raids yet. We can then carry this on to raid, where you may need 4 or 5 players with the professions in order to accomplish the task, since raids are by definition bigger and might even have better effects. So let me lay out a scenario here for you that might be plausible in the current game. I personally think it is, but it remains to be seen if this will be implemented. Mythic Shriekwing. Now, for those who don't know, Mythic Shriekwing is the first boss in Castle Nathria. I'm sure anybody watching this video knows that, but just in case. It has a mechanic on normal and heroic where there are white circles that bounce around. Don't get hit by them, get feared, you drop blood, it's a bad time. Avoid them. On Mythic, they are invisible, and they are only revealed via a lantern that you have to walk in and get a buff and move around. If the white circles hit the lantern, it explodes, ads come out, it's essentially a wipe. Why most teams that clear it use the no lantern strat where you bait the casts. We're not going to go into that. That's just a thing. I wanted to just set the scene pretty effectively. Now, let's say 4 enchanters can interact with the lantern to empower it and turn the damage component of the debuff off, while the rest of the lantern still functions in the same way with special regards to the mechanics of the fight. So that means that now when you take the debuff, you don't get a stacking dot, you just have the little indicator that you can see the white orbs. Most people don't even use the lantern to begin with, so it doesn't matter. It's easily done outside of that. It's certainly doable without said interaction, but this interaction allows for professions to be used in raids in a meaningful way. This is just one example. Every boss could, and by design, should be different. Well, do you want professions to be more involved
engaged, impactful, dare I say, Nimpactful? Either way, let me know in the comments below if you agree, disagree, or have another opinion to share with me. Right now on screen, you should see a list of people scrolling by. Those illustrious gods among mere mortals are my patrons. If you'd like to join that pantheon, you can at patreon.com/Nimicry. You can also find all of my socials down below. Follow the Twitter, specifically, because that's where I post the most, and I'll have a link to my personal Discord. Please be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.